again, and welcome to the Author Roundup. This special segment of the Book Connection show showcases emerging indie authors who join us for a discussion of their newly published books. Join us for a conversation with our next guest author. Welcome to the show. My name is Emma, and I will be your host for today's episode. Today I have with me Vivian Blair. She is the author of Sir Winter the Manatee, Crown of the Sea. Vivian is the mother of 3 and the grandmother of 4. She resides in Florida with her husband and their 3 four-legged furry animals. Hi, Vivian. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to the show.
Hello and welcome.
Yeah. So can you tell us about your book, please?
Yes. I'm going to actually start with why I wrote the book.
Okay.
I lost my son Easter Sunday, and my son was an artist, and he was actually in animation, but he loved the water, and because they grew up on the water, and he loved manatees. Manatees were his favorite. And right after he died, losing Jack just broke me to the core. And I needed something that I could relate, just be able to do something that he loved. So I started working with the manatees. And it became my home away from home. And that is when I started channeling in with the memories when he was young. And it helped me write this story because I work with manatees every day. In fact, yesterday, my son was a twin. He left behind a twin sister. And yesterday, for the very first time, we had a mother with very rare, but they do have twins, and I was able to witness a mother manatee with her twins.
My gosh.
It was beautiful. And it's funny because while I was writing the story about manatee, I really do believe that Jack's spirit was working, helping me, because I would never have written a children's book. I'm just not. I had never written a children's book. But what I did is I turned my son into a little manatee who has lost his father. And this book is, it was written to help the ages of 5 to 9 understand losing somebody important or losing anyone in their life, because we can't push it under the rug. Children, especially at that age, cannot. They need to understand loss.
Yeah.
So, because of this important topic, it's a very hard topic, and the grieving journey is difficult and challenging for adults. I mean, for a child to have to go through it is just, it was hard, because I have 2 grandsons who were 3 and 5 at the time, and we did exactly what everybody else does: push it under the rug. So I took Jack's memories, and I channeled in with the relationship that I had with Jack, which was a beautiful relationship. And I just dove right into the story. In fact, my boss at the Manatee Center was my inspiration to be Ma. She's kind of like my mentor at the Manatee Center, and she is the character Ma. And it's just about a young calf whose father was a very famous manatee. He was the king of the sea, and he's just lost his father, and he's confused and scared. And his mother helps guide him through the preparation of losing his father and the many questions that he has
Mm-hmm.
about um, loss, where they go, what happens once they're gone. And she actually prepares him to become the future Prince of the Sea.
Mm. Oh,
And
that's
my
so sweet.
illustrator is very important to the book because with my son being an artist, I needed to find an artist that understood the way Jack
Sure.
drew and his love for manatees. And boy, she nailed it on the very first rough draft. My
Hmm.
illustrator is phenomenal.
Oh, that's so special. Yeah. Well, I just want to say first off, sorry, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm
Thank
sure,
you.
it's been hard, for you and your family and but I think, I'm sure this book for you was a part of your own healing journey, would you say?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you're aware that the company turned the book into a little video. It's on
Mm.
YouTube. It's a 5-minute video. And at
Oh.
the end, it has Jack um,
Oh.
blowing kisses. They originally had him hugging a manatee, but it's against the law to touch manatees.
Mm-hmm.
So we changed it, and he's blowing kisses. And
Oh.
it was just so beautiful to see Jack coming alive with
Mm-hmm.
Pa. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I felt like um, I knew I had to do something, and I knew that I wanted to make Jack's legacy, bring it to life,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to share, the experience of going through the journey, but it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been almost 2 years. And the first year, I journaled every morning. I wrote a letter to Jack,
Mm-hmm.
and I could not talk about Jack's death. It
Mm-hmm.
was very, very hard. And once I moved on to the Manatee Center and was surrounded by so much love with the volunteers and our guest who came to take our tours, it made me realize that I was safe, and I was in a safe spot to be able to share my story and to share
Mm-hmm.
Jack's.
Mm-hmm.
So I have come a long way just by looking at my journal and looking at the
Mm-hmm.
different letters from the beginning to now.
Mm-hmm.
My journey has grown
Oh,
very
wow.
successfully.
Yeah.
But I will say, I still cry every day.
Yeah, I'm
It,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, of
it's
course.
just it's something that um I don't think that I will ever um stop doing.
Mm-hmm.
But even when it's a happy memory, I cry. And
Yeah,
it's a
happy
happy cry.
tears. Yeah, yeah.
But Sir Winter, he's my love. And he was my first book. And he's very special to me. And
Mm-hmm.
he's very special to my family and to my illustrator because it was
Mm-hmm.
her actually it was her first book.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I
Yeah,
know.
both of your first specs.
It was our first.
Um, so the relationship between Sir Winter and Mom, is very gentle and nurturing. What message do you hope parents and children take away from their conversations in your book?
First of all, anybody out there that is going through what I've had to go through with my family,
Mm-hmm.
I I said in my book, if I could just hug you and try to make it better, I know that a hug won't,
Mm-hmm.
but I will tell you it does get better. And these little ones that have to go through the challenges of a great loss, it's important for you to share
Mm-hmm.
with them,
Mm-hmm.
because not knowing and forgetting the person that they've lost, it just confuses them.
Yeah.
And my youngest grandson, who is 4 now, he doesn't remember Jack.
Hmm.
Where the middle one, which is 6, he's starting to understand better because my daughter has shared more with him.
Yeah.
And it's so important to be aware and don't be afraid to talk to your little ones about this.
Hmm.
It's a very serious topic, and it will affect them when they get older. They
Yeah.
they need to understand, and they have to know the legacy of the person, and they need to get to know the person that they lost and hold that to their heart.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And so what do you think, like you mentioned earlier about, when someone passes away in a family and you have young ones and you kind of like sweep it under the rug, what do you mean as far as what that looks like as from the parents as far as sweeping it under the rug and not acknowledging grief?
We What I meant by that is, let's say children like Sir Winter had all these questions
Hmm.
about needing questions about, in the book it's his father, and instead of just ignoring it and moving on to another topic, uh, or just trying to explain that everything will be okay,
Hmm.
it's not going to be okay,
Yeah.
because um, as adults, we need to explain to our loved ones
Yeah.
what this is all about.
Yeah.
And
True.
it just, rather than not answering the questions that I tried to write in my book. And I will tell you, Emma, it was very hard to turn this book into this age,
Hmm.
because it being such a strong and hard topic, it's
Yeah.
just a topic that we all try to avoid.
Yeah. It's hard.
And it I did the best I could to have Ma bring herself to her young calf's level and try to
Hmm.
explain that it's okay. It's okay to be scared, and to be scared is uh, being brave.
Hmm.
It's it's okay for little ones to ask questions: why, where, how. It's okay. We all need to be comfortable enough to explain to this age group about loss.
Yeah. Yeah, and creating like a safe space for grief too, because it's inevitable, right?
Well, and you know what? That's what I did with Ma.
Hmm.
Um, Ma put Sir Winter in a safe space to make it safe for Sir
Hmm.
Winter, because he was just so scared.
Hmm.
And we all want our little ones to feel safe and to be in a safe space.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
these little ones, um, it's hard. In fact, I am so happy with where this book is going right now, because it was my main goal to get it into hospitals, funeral
Yeah.
homes, um, hospice houses. And we are already in 2 hospice houses right now. They are sharing my book with their
Hmm.
children's camps. The hospice house has camps for young children who have suffered a loss,
Yeah.
and my book is getting out there.
Yeah. I think a children's book about grief, your book specifically is so wonderful for parents that may struggle with knowing what to say when that time comes about grief. And I feel like a children's book is the vocabulary and the way that you talk about grief is like probably a great starter for first time parents who need to talk about grief with their child. So I think that's really really great that you did that and made that a priority. Because obviously with grief, children, don't need to know all the details, but they need to know, like we've talked about, they need to know what's going on, right? Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant about pushing it under the
Yeah,
rug.
right. Yeah, it's
I'm
like we're not going to talk about it. Well, it's like, well, they're gone. Like, yeah,
I
yeah.
know, and
Eh,
it does not work.
Yeah.
They it's just very important that they understand, because
Yeah.
I tell you, as an adult having to go through this journey, I have never ever gone through a journey as hard as
Hmm.
this.
Yeah.
And it it's just been so unbelievable, because I've I've had people in my life afraid to talk about it, to where they had to walk away from me because
Hmm.
they just didn't know. But then I had so many wonderful friends and workers, co-workers, who were just nothing but hands on, hands out,
Yeah.
helping me day by day. And Evelyn, my boss at the center, she was a huge inspiration as a
Hmm.
person, as somebody that I loved working with, learning about manatees and working with the manatees. But the fact that she was able to give so much to the manatees, but yet give so much to somebody suffering from something that she didn't really know anything about, because she hadn't experienced it herself.
Yeah.
And that, um, as a community, we all need to come together and work together on this.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's just because it's hard, and every day, I don't know, when I wake up in the morning, I am still confused, asking myself why did this happen. But I work with children 3 times a month, and some of the children are Down syndrome,
Hmm.
and they are such a joy to work with, and I love working with the parents and the children. But it helps me at the end of the day. I get to go home and say, I don't need to worry about feeling sorry for myself, or asking questions about why me, why did this happen to me, because I look at the lives of these beautiful children with challenges and how the parents handle them on a day-to-day basis. It makes my problems go away very quickly.
Hmm.
And I love working with the children, and that's why I feel I just really enjoyed writing this book.
Hmm.
And it was difficult at times. I got very frustrated. And that's
Yeah.
why I do feel that Jack, his spirit was helping me, guiding me through. But it was just a joy every day. And when I finally finished the book, it saddened me.
Hmm.
In fact, I'm working on a book right now, which is a completely different, it's not about manatees,
Uh-huh.
um, but it's an older child and her horse.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
nice. So in your opinion, what are some healthy ways children can express grief that adults m might not always recognize?
Um, well, I just from personal experience
Hmm.
with um, my grandchildren, just spend as much time as you can with them, communicate with them, and always talk. Just
Hmm.
talk about if anything is on their mind, work it through.
Yeah.
And also going to the cemetery where Jack is, it has helped.
Hmm.
It has helped a lot. Some people will think that it doesn't, but going to the cemetery and sitting uh, uh, sitting nearby a tree, just talking it through, and um, talk about memories that I had with Jack, and with Lily being the twin sister, just always talk
Mm-hmm.
about
Yeah.
the memories. And that's what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
not just not talking about
Yeah.
Jack anymore. We talk more and more about him.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do with the boys is I always put Jack and Lily together as being
Mm-hmm.
together,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it kind of makes them understand the relationship between their mother and their uncle.
Yeah. That they were twins and that was like
Right.
so special. Yeah.
And birthdays, of course, it's hard for Lily because she shares the same
Yeah.
birthday, but
Mm-hmm.
birthdays are very important.
Mm-hmm.
All holidays, it's like Easter's coming, and I don't I don't particularly enjoy Easter anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to because it's for the children.
Yeah.
And it's like last year we talked about Jack after the Easter egg hunt,
Mm-hmm.
and we just made a point to make uh, Jack's life to bring it alive on Easter.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yeah.
just brought up memories that Lily had with Jack because it happened to have been his favorite holiday.
Oh my
He loved
goodness.
Easter.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's so great, like the way you're going about it and, talking about him and not, talking about the memories and keeping his memory alive. I think that's great. I feel like a lot of people are uncomfortable with talking about, the loss of someone and maybe thinking that people don't want to talk about it, but obviously, yeah,
Well,
you want to talk about it.
you're exactly right. We need to get out of that way of thinking,
Yeah.
because that is the whole reason why I edited this book for this age, because it prolongs emotional growth,
Yeah.
and it just it they become angry, um just not being able to um show emotions that
Yeah.
go towards loss.
Yeah. And that can
So,
transition into adulthood
amen.
too.
And that's
Yeah.
why it's important.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you hope that or how do you hope families will use your book when navigating, difficult conversations with loss?
Well, um I like I have said, I would only hope um that they would be able to do exactly what I did. And for all these parents that are going through this, I recommend writing in a journal.
Mm,
And I think that it's important for the older children, like 8, 9, 10, to start a journal,
mm-hmm.
and just to be able to express um, their feelings on paper, because sometimes it's very hard to be able to express verbally.
Yeah.
I had a speech impediment. I did not know how to talk until I was 5 years old, and I had a speech impediment, so I had to go through speech therapy. But because of my fear of speaking out, that's how I became a writer,
Mm-hmm.
because all of my thoughts, everything that I was afraid of with speaking, it went into writing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just important to be able to uh, put down your emotions on paper,
Yeah.
verbally, and hopefully the parents that are going through this with this experience, they can carry it on,
Mm-hmm.
carry it forward, and always be there for somebody in need, because we are always in need.
Yeah.
And the people that are scared and need to walk away, don't be angry with them. It's not their fault. They're just afraid that they're not going to be able to help us. So
Yeah.
it's best for them to just walk away from it. But always be that person to reach out and to give them a hug. It's like
Yeah.
yesterday, I had a young mother who lost her father a day before I lost Jack, and she shared a birthday with her dad. And her being a young adult with a young child, she has struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me and just started crying. And she said, I just don't know what to do. Can I hug you? And I said, of course you can hug me. And she just sat there and just held on to me. And she went into the gift shop and bought my book.
Oh,
And
that's
it
so
just
sweet.
it just really, it was just, it made me so happy, because that's what I want. And I
Yeah.
want them to be able to share that book with someone else that's going through the same thing that she's going through,
Mm-hmm.
because Emma, it's lonely. it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a very lonely process,
Mm-hmm.
because my husband struggles talking about Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you feel alone, and we should not ever feel alone,
Yeah.
because there's so many of us that are experiencing the same
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah. Was there a particular moment while writing your book that felt especially, meaningful or emotional for you?
Yes, there's a part of the book where Ma, um, actually, Sir Winter asked Ma what his father is doing
Mm-hmm.
up in paradise, because that's what I called. Um, his father went up into the sky, and they call it paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And she explained to him the beauty and what everything is surrounding Pa. And Pa is up there laughing, singing, and
Mm-hmm.
dancing. Well, Jack loved to sing, and he loved to laugh, and boy, did he love to dance. And I know that is what he is doing up there. He is singing, he's laughing, and he's dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That whole time, asking myself why did this happen? I'm I'm now, I have been able to accept it a lot better, and to realize that Jack is in a happier place.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, Jack was not afraid um, uh, to to leave to leave us here and to be there. He was
Mm-hmm.
not afraid, and I know that he is up there and he's watching over all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I Jack loved Winnie the Pooh,
Mm-hmm.
and he loved all kinds of music, and he loved Disney music, and The Little Mermaid was probably his favorite of all. And I have a lot of Little Mermaid songs just constantly
In your
in.
head. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, The Little Mermaid has a little special place in my heart. Winnie the
Mm-hmm.
Pooh, just beautiful quotes, and the Little Mermaid music just stays with me. And that's why I love working with the children at the Manatee Center, because
Hmm.
all of our creatures that we talk about and we play music to is little water creatures.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we always put the Little Mermaid music in. It's just it's almost like I was meant to be there.
Yeah. And so you got involved with the Manatee Center after Jack's death.
Right after he died, it was
Yeah.
strange. I grew up here,
Yeah.
and it's in the next county, about 10 miles from where I live. And I had never even heard of the organization. And one day it appeared on my computer.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I went right to the website, and they had a volunteer section. So
Oh.
I filled it out, and I got a phone call the next day, and I was in.
Hmm.
But it's a
So
beautiful
cool.
organization. We go from teaching the community, we give tours, um, and we help teach about the endangerment,
Hmm.
and we also rescue.
Hmm.
So
Um,
it's a very expanded organization, and it's a beautiful organization where you can grow.
hmm.
And it will be 2 years coming up, and I have grown with the organization, and also emotionally.
Yeah. What do you think Jack would think of you working with manatees?
You know, I do know he would probably be shocked because working with the manatees and working as a tour guide, that just was never my. I have always had a fear of being out in public
Hmm.
and speaking publicly because of my speech impediment that I've struggled with for many, many years. And I think that he would be surprised, but I do know that he's proud
Hmm.
of of what I have been able to do. And I
Oh,
don't think that Jack would have wanted me to stay in my bed and not ever want to get out of the bed, because that's how I felt.
yeah.
It was really, really hard. I'm a runner, and it was really, really hard to get out of bed and put on my running shoes and
Yeah.
just run. And getting out of bed right now, I am up every morning at 5. I read, I write, but I know that Jack is proud of me for going to the Manatee Center and working with his favorite animal.
Oh, that's so special.
Because manatees are mammals like us.
Yeah.
They have to breathe air. They have to come
Yeah.
up for air, and they need fresh water to survive. So they're mammals. They are kind
Hmm.
of like us.
Hmm.
And when I see, every time I see a mammal, I'm like a child running into a candy store. I'm just so excited. So, because I love them. They're they're such a beautiful and amazing creature.
Hmm.
And when Meredith gave me her very first rough draft of Sir Winter, he reminded me so much of Jack.
Hmm.
Everything about Sir Winter just reminds me so much of Jack. And I it just it makes me happy. I'm very proud of my book. Not that I'm proud of what it's done for me, but just it's just such a beautiful way to keep Jack's memory alive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that Jack deserves that.
Hmm.
He was
Yeah.
very special. He loved children. He loved people.
Hmm.
He was a giver. And I'm this is my way of giving back to Jack
Mm-hmm.
because he gave so much to us.
Yeah.
And he gave so much to me,
Mm-hmm.
like the rest, like his sisters.
Mm-hmm.
He was he was the love of my life, like the rest of my family. I'm very proud of my family.
Mm-hmm.
And we should all be very proud of what our children um, are growing to become. And
Mm-hmm.
every child deserves to become what their dream is to become.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. And so when did you start writing your book and when did you decide on publishing it?
Well, that's what's so amazing. I started just a few months after Jack passed, and the more I started working with the public and having to learn so much about manatees, because when you work with the public at the Manatee Center, you have to know so much, because when you're a tour guide,
Mm-hmm.
they ask you so many questions, and you have to be there and you have to be able to answer them.
Yeah.
And it's the more I started working with the public and the children, I realized that I was in a happy place being at the Manatee Center. And what happened is when I would wake up and start writing in my journal, it
Mm-hmm.
was so dark, my journal. And
Mm-hmm.
I needed to find a way to get out of the darkness. And
Yeah.
what happened is watching the children and their reactions when they saw manatees and just the excitement. It made me come up with a story, and I named him Sir Winter because manatees, um, they come in the wintertime
Mm-hmm.
to come to warm waters, and they leave us in the summertime because what happens, they're mammals like us, and because they don't have any fat, they're all muscle. They have to be in certain degree waters.
Mm.
So they leave the cold waters to come to warm waters, and that's why I named him Sir Winter.
Mm. Okay. Very cool.
and and also the crown on Sir Winter's head on the cover of his book. Um, I worked with my illustrator because starfish represent hope and strength,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what Sir Winter needed in order to grow up to become Prince of the Sea.
Mm. Oh, okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. And so how long did it take you to write your book then?
It probably took, let me see, um, from May, it only took about 7 months.
Oh, okay. Not
Um,
bad.
but then I just kind of, I put it aside,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started looking into publishing it. And then I was like, no, oh, this is never going to happen to me. I would never know. I just kind of pushed it aside. And one morning, my husband at breakfast looked at me and said, "So, where are you going with the next chapter of your book?"
Mm.
And I'm like, "Well, I really don't know." He said, "Well, I think that you need to find out what you're doing because I think that your story needs to be shared." So
Oh,
that's how I found Archway.
oh, that's so
And
sweet.
yeah, and it was they were wonderful to work with. Um, in fact, when everything was finished and it was time to go into production, I was sad because
Mm.
I it's like, now what? Because it was
Yeah,
just so much fun working with them. It was exciting.
yeah. What was your writing experience like?
It was hard because,
Yeah.
like I said, I had never written a children's book, and having to go down to a children's level. But it it was just a beautiful experience because even though I was scared, it just it's like when I was at work, I made sure to write everything down. If something came to my mind, I would automatically go and write it down
Mm-hmm.
because I just didn't want it to escape.
Yeah.
Um, but it it was hard. It was challenging, but it it put me in a happy place
Yeah.
because Sir Winter, I visualized him in my mind, and that's why it was so important to find an illustrator to be able um, to create the same
Yeah.
Sir Winter that I had in
In
my
your mind.
mind.
Yeah.
But he's that cute little chubby face, which I mentioned at the end. He just he he brought joy. It's like
Mm-hmm.
every time I would write something down to put into the book, it made me happy because whenever I visualized Sir Winter, I would just bring out more pictures of Jack, and
Mm-hmm.
just um, it was happy.
Yeah.
I, it was hard, but it was happy because um, what made it hard was it was too advanced, and having to bring it to a 4 to 8 year old level was like,
Mm.
how am I going to do this? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
But I have a very good friend who owned a newspaper in New Jersey. Joanne actually helped
Oh, that's
edit
nice.
the story and bring it down to a child's level.
Okay.
So
And
she helped.
yeah, that's cool. And so how did you wrap your head around being a children's book author, and how did you go about having a certain like writing style? Did that happen more organically, or is it something that, you wanted certain words or pictures to go with words? How did that?
Yes. Um, the words um, I was trying to express, I needed to be able to have Ma's love just coming from her heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I channeled into the story with just all the memories of guiding Jack through his fears, because Jack had a lot of fears and Jack had a lot of questions. He was very, very intuitive. He was dyslexic, which made him, it was hard for him to learn the way other kids are able to learn.
Right.
So we had his father and I had to just guide him through the best we could,
Mm-hmm.
and that is why he loved the water, because we live on the water, and swimming just and drawing is how he escaped his frustrations, and that's what I wanted. It it's it's almost like Jack was afraid to be afraid,
Mm-hmm.
and we should never be afraid to be afraid. It's bravery. It's brave to be afraid. And Sir Winter, it was just a natural emotion, and we should never be afraid of anything. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I compared it. Being afraid, it's like the changing of the seasons,
Mm,
and
yeah.
that's why I put my illustrator put a little alligator on Sir Winter's back, just to show that he's so brave. Even an alligator being on his back was not going. He was not going to be afraid of that.
Uh-huh.
And that's another thing that just made me really sad writing this book, because of the fears that I have, that I need to, as an adult, I still need to overcome those fears. And
Mm-hmm.
believe me, I have a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that just being able to help others through their fears, I'm able to get rid of the fears that I still have. I have a
Yeah.
lot of insecurities.
Mm,
And losing Jack um, made me afraid of a lot of things.
mm-hmm.
And I just, Jack was all, Jack was afraid of a lot of things. And it's kind of what interfered with his self-confidence.
Mm,
And as he grew older and older and started working in animation, I think it helped him a lot to overcome some of the fears.
yeah. Huh.
But his learning difference always got in the way.
Mm,
And
yeah.
it does mine too. That's why I was so scared doing this interview with you, because I'm like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, what am I going to
no.
do?
No, no, you're doing great.
And that's why I needed to, when I explain about the book, Ma was able to create a safe space for Sir Winter. Jack's dad and I were always working on making sure Jack and his siblings have a safe space.
Yeah, always. Yeah, that's really
And
important.
our home was always safe, and communicating was has always been the key. And just communicate and don't keep anything bottled inside. And
Yeah.
that's what was so important with writing this book,
Hmm.
because
I
we
love that.
just can't hide our emotions.
Mm-mm. Yeah. And so, what type of feedback have you received about your book so far?
Everything's good. I
Oh.
um I have a friend who I sent it to in Georgia, and when Charlotte received it, the first thing she said was, "It's such a beautiful book, but it's too short. It's not long enough." And I said, "Charlotte, it's for the
The
ages of
message is
4
good.
to 9."
Yeah, it's for
You know,
children.
but I
But
have a
adults can get
very
a lot out of it too. Yeah.
well. I have a husband and wife um, who are very very good friends of ours, and the first thing they did was send it to their friends who lost
Mm,
their children,
mm.
lost a child, children, and they wrote the most beautiful review on
Oh.
Amazon. It just made me cry,
Hmm.
and it's just it's like when I shared it with the person at hospice. I mean, she immediately felt that this book was important for her to use for
Hmm.
her children's camp.
Hmm. Oh, that's so special. That's so cool
Yeah.
that you made that happen with your book.
Now, my oldest daughter has struggled. She's has had a hard time talking about Jack, and
Hmm.
she actually had to put the book aside for a
Hmm.
while because she just wasn't ready. But
Hmm.
she's doing better.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, it
good.
was hard when I first saw the book. It was so different when you see it on the computer and you see all
Yeah.
your layouts, and
Yeah.
then you see the pictures that my illustrator drew. But when you actually hold the book in in my hand, it I mean, I lost it.
Yeah. I
It
imagine.
it was hard. It was hard. I kind of had to put it aside, and I the more I picked it up, but I feel the feedback that I'm getting has been very, very positive,
Mm.
especially with the illustrations, because
Yeah.
I don't think that my book would have been able to be a book without Meredith.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
really, and that's why I added her name to it. I mean,
Yeah.
this book is mine and Meredith's.
How did you find your illustrator?
Through work.
Okay.
She's an artist, and she's with the Manatee Center. And
Perfect.
I started looking at her work, and it was just so it it just looked like Jack's work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I do believe in reasons why we're placed somewhere. I never used to believe in things like that, but I do now believe that Jack put me at the Manatee Center. Jack had me. That's why I met Meredith, because she was going to be my
Oh my
illustrator.
gosh. Yeah, that's
I mean,
special.
I do believe in in all of that now,
Mm-hmm.
where I never, in fact, Jack always believed um in um in these type of things. And I used to just laugh and say, "Oh, Jack, nothing, I don't believe in that." Now I do.
No, you do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What advice would you give out to a writer working on, their first book?
You know, that's I would have to say, um, do not get frustrated and do not stop. Do not stop it. This
Mm-hmm.
this is a passion, and this is your story. Everybody has a story, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's story is just as important as the other person's story. And everyone should be able to put their
Mm-hmm.
story into a book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just, I mean, I think that the only thing that holds anybody back is just fear,
Yeah.
and that's our biggest problem, is just
Mm-hmm.
being afraid. Sure, I was afraid,
Mm-hmm.
and because of my husband and
Mm-hmm.
Jack's spirit, those were the two that
Kept you
pushed
going.
me out there. My husband was huge, huge, as far as getting me out there and doing it, because my
Oh.
husband is not afraid of anything. He has always just gone out and at least tried.
Yeah.
And
That's
he
nice
said,
to have a partner like that.
"Oh my gosh," because he's the complete opposite of me. Because I would have just put this away and said, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't.
Hmm.
I can't." And he helped me every day, and
Oh.
his positivity and Jack's spirit, I think, helped me along a lot faster. I
Hmm.
don't think, if it hadn't have been for my husband and him constantly pushing me, I don't think that I would be sitting here right now talking to you. I
Oh.
think that my book would be sitting in a drawer
Hmm.
untouched because I was too afraid. So I would tell anybody who wants to write a book, go do it. Do it, and your story is just as important as my story. And do
Hmm.
not be afraid.
Hmm.
Fear, what is, you have nothing to be afraid of but fear itself.
So, yeah, that's a good
it's
quote.
it's a
That's
very
true.
important quote.
Yeah.
And no one should be afraid to
Hmm.
write their story.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you have any personal goals for this year or any other book goals? I know you mentioned you're working on a second book.
I am working on a second book,
That's
and I'm
exciting.
also I'm I'm also putting Jack's letters that I wrote each day. I'm working on that, and it's called "Hello, Jack, It's Me Again."
Oh.
But I am working on another story about a little girl who's afraid after losing her grandfather, and um, she runs into a magical horse.
Oh, that would be good.
And
Very good.
my very good friend at the Manatee Center, Kim, who has helped me marketing the book locally. Um, she has a daughter who shows horses.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
Nice.
it's kind of, it's her life, it's her goal to be able to work with children and horses when she gets older. and it's helping me write a story.
Nice. Very cool. You
So,
have all these resources and all these connections. It's great.
well, it's all because for some reason I wound up at that manatee center.
Oh my gosh, what a blessing.
I mean, every single woman who works at the Manatee Center has become a beautiful mentor to me. And every single one of them is so important to me.
Hmm.
And it was important for me to mention them today
Oh,
because
that's really special.
uh, every single one of them, Jessica, Kim, Elise, Evelyn, they all were my mentors who were like a sister or a mother to me, even though we're the same age. Um, Evelyn, who's Ma, she was like a mother to me. I mean, there were
Hmm.
days where all I wanted to do was cry and I didn't want to be out there giving tours at all. And she would just spend at least 20 minutes talking it through and telling me how important it it would be for Jack
Mm.
to see what I'm doing, educating people about these manatees.
Oh,
And
wow.
manatees are just so important for our lagoon. And we're losing more and more manatees because of the lagoon, and the seagrass is dying, and also boats not following the rules of 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 their boats.
Hmm.
So it's just important. Manatees are just so important for our environment, and it's it's important for people, you know, like myself, to work with this important organization.
Hmm. That's
But I
really,
love it.
yeah,
There's
that's
not one
good.
day.
I'm glad you found it.
I know.
All
And
right.
that's another thing, for anybody that is experiencing loss. I think it's important to find an organization,
Mm.
find a passion that they're interested in, and go and join an organization where they can share that passion and to give to others.
Yeah.
It helps.
Okay.
If I did not have the Manatee Center, well, first of all, I wouldn't have this. This book would never have happened.
Hmm.
But I I think that I would still be in a very dark place.
Hmm. Good advice. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Is there anything else that you would like to mention, Vivian, before we go?
No, just it was wonderful talking to you,
Yes, you as
and
well.
I was very scared, but
But you
I
did
I
great. It
actually,
was awesome.
yeah, I feel very positive, and thank
Good.
you so much for taking the time
Yeah, of
to
course.
speak with me.
Of course. Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. I know that, this publishing journey couldn't have been easy for you, and thank you so much for being here today. If you're listening and want to grab Vivian's book, head to archwaypublishing.com and find her book through the online bookstore. It's also available on Amazon and Barnes& and Noble. And I thank you so much for being here and for listening, and I will see you next time.